You ever feel that electric tension in the air like a storm brewing right over Ford Field, but nobody's brave enough to call it out? Like you're standing on the sidelines, watching shadows move, whispers crawl through the locker room halls. And something big, something earth-shaking, is just waiting to explode while the whole city holds its breath, not knowing what's coming next? Well, buckle up, because insiders are no longer whispering. They're straight up yelling in hushed tones about the silence of one of Detroit's fiercest defensive warriors. And this silence? It's deafening. Hit the comments and scream if you feel that raw fire burning in your chest for this team. Because today, right now, everything about this offseason just took a hard left into the unknown. And the fallout. The fallout could change everything. Behind closed doors, where contract talks turn icy and smiles fade into clenched jaws, a fracture is growing, and at the heart of it stands Alex Anzalone, our linebacker who's become the embodiment of the Detroit grind, the guy who hit like thunder and supposedly led by example, but now he's nowhere to be seen where it counts the most. You've seen the pictures, the lack of his face in those first-day training camp shots. The cryptic tweets dripping with stats and thinking emojis, like he's letting us all know he's not happy, that he feels undervalued. The quiet strength we relied on might be quietly unraveling. And this isn't just some rookie holdout or empty threat. Alex Anzalone has been the line's defensive heartbeat, the pulse in the trenches that kept hope alive on those sun-scorched Sundays and freezing Detroit nights. We've stared down heartbreak since '91. Felt the sting of dashed promises and tantalizing near misses. But this isn't about just another negotiation gone cold. It's about pride, about respect, about a warrior who gave all he had, exploded on the field with the tenacity of a city that's clawed its way back from ashes, only to be told his worth is less than what's deserved. And here's the kicker while the team moves forward, geared up and tough. Our linebacker captain's absence from the spotlight reeks of something deeper, more complicated. What if this isn't just smoke? What if Anzalone's quiet rebellion signals an upheaval nobody wanted to admit but has been looming a holdout, a fracture in the defense that could rip through the locker room chemistry like a Detroit winter wind cutting through thin fabric? What if this standoff stalls the momentum Dan Campbell's been building, the momentum this fan base so desperately needs? But then, what if it's a calculated risk, a gamble by a man who knows exactly what he's worth and who refuses to settle for less, like the city itself, stubborn and relentless, demanding its due? And what if, in this silent war for recognition, we see a Lions team that's forced to make a gut-wrenching decision, sacrifice one of its own for the greater good, or double down on loyalty to a player who simply believes the price he's paid doesn't match the fire he brings? The weight of it all is crushing, because this isn't just about dollars or contracts. It's about the soul of Detroit football, about every fan who's begged, cried, and stayed faithful through endless winters of defeat. It's a reminder that sometimes the battles off the field are just as brutal as those fought beneath the glare of stadium lights. And now the fuse is lit. With media availability looming tomorrow, questions swirling in every Detroit sports corner, and the city's heart beating in nervous anticipation, the stage is set for a showdown that could either break us or finally push the Lions into a fierce new era. Will Alex Anzalone show up to fight alongside his brothers, or is he about to become the first domino in a reshaped defense? A signal that change is coming whether we like it or not? I don't know the answer yet, but I tell you this, the tension is thick. The stakes are sky high, and neither this team nor this town has ever backed down from a fight. And if this domino falls, if this standoff turns into a full-blown drama, you better believe the Lions story for 2024 is going to be one no fan will forget. Because Detroit isn't just coming back, it's coming for blood-enough silence. Roar now or forever be forgotten. The Detroit Lions are on the edge of an abyss, and the silence from Anzalone's camp feels like a thunderclap echoing through the heart of Ford Field. This isn't just a holdout. It's a declaration that the ground beneath our feet is shifting. Every fragment of history rushing back to those dark days when 0-16 was more than a nightmare. It was a scar etched deep in the city's soul. The ghosts of seasons past seemed to haunt this moment. Barry Sanders slipping away with a quiet farewell. Calvin Johnson hanging up his cleats with tears blurring his voice. Dan Orlovsky's courageous yet haunted safety run that kept us sane. In an insane league each story, each heartbreak fuels this tension, and now in 2024, our identity feels under siege, like we're watching the fabric of the Lions unravel right before our eyes. We all remember the bold flashes of Caldwell's coaching, the wild card collapses that turned to bitter silence, and last year's playoff hope that flickered and died in the cold Atlanta night. How many times have we watched something beautiful slip through our fingers just to be rebuilt stronger, tougher, more determined? Could this standstill with Anzalone threaten that fragile rebuild? The NFC North rage, with rivals clawing at our door, bows buys for the Vikings. A Bears team hungry for redemption, the Packers licking their wounds and waiting to pounce our. Sensing this weakness, whispering that Detroit's foundation might be cracking. This is more than just a contract standoff. It's a mirror of the city's grit, echoing the moments when we faced down every obstacle, the late-game heroics of Stafford, the unforgettable game-winning drives, the thunderous roar of a fan base that refused to back down, even after the snow of winter or the scorching heat of summer, each battle hardening a collective resolve. Anzalone, our linebacker, the heart and soul of our defense, has always embodied that relentless Detroit spirit, hitting with the fury of a storm, rallying the troops behind him, his voice the rallying cry echoing through our nightmares and hopes alike. Now he's a ghost in the locker room, his absence fueling questions that cut deeper than even the coldest winter winds. What's really going on behind that? Fortress of negotiation? Is this a veiled protest, a cry for recognition that's been long overdue, or a sign that we're staring into a chasm that could swallow what little stability we have left? It's a gamble. Every move with him feels like a game of chess in a city where the stakes have never been higher. And make no mistake, this isn't just about Anzalone's contract. It's about what he represents, a symbol of loyalty or defiance, a legacy in the making, a player who refused to be just another cog in the machine, who demanded respect, and in doing so lit a powder keg of unspoken frustrations. The front office, leaning into their own cold calculations, might see this as an acceptable risk, might think they can replace grit in the draft room. But we know better. We know how much Detroit football carries the heartbreaks, the triumphs, those fleeting moments when we believed, truly believed, this city could rise again, that redemption was within reach, just like in those glory days when Sanders danced through defenses or Megatron redefined what a receiver could be. And now, with the weight of history pressing down, the specter of alumni legends whispering from the shadows, this silent stand could be the catalyst for Detroit's rebirth or the final nail in our coffin. Imagine a scenario where Anzalone walks away, shadows cast over the defense, leaving holes that even Campbell's fiery spirit can't fill overnight. Could that fracture be the spark for rivals to rally, for the NFC North to see the Lions as vulnerable for the first time in years? But what if this is all a misdirect? What if Anzalone is holding firm, waiting for the right moment to strike, knowing that Detroit's unpredictable? This city lives on resilience, bred from ashes, every setback a setup for a greater comeback. Jim Caldwell once told us stories of second chances, of warriors like Stafford and Stafford's grit. How many times have we been told to hold on, to believe, when every season felt like a nightmare of what-ifs? And yet, every time, Detroit found a way to claw out of despair, to surprise the world in spite of the odds, until last season's wild-card playoff heartbreak, the same one that seemed to mimic the ghosts of losses past, yet also sparked a fierce new fire. Now, in 2024, this standstill threatens to become a defining chapter, not just for the defense, but for the entire franchise. A battle of wills that could either forge new legends or leave us fractured like shattered glass in the cold Detroit rain. Every fan, every player, every coach holding their breath, knowing that whether Anzalone's silence is a tactic or a true fracture, the storm has already begun to brew, and its first lightning strike could ignite a war that no one saw coming. Are we ready to face the fallout, or is this just the beginning of a war that will leave Detroit forever changed? The line between resilience and collapse has never been thinner, and as the city huddles in nervous anticipation, one question remains burning brighter than a Detroit summer sun. When the dust settles, will we still stand united, or will this crumble us beyond recognition? Because this moment, right here, right now, might just decide whether the Lions roar forever on or fade quietly into the shadows of a forgotten past.